Well done. Thank you. Appreciate it very much. Thanks.
All right, so.
Oh, now, we are going to sell the 20. We've got centerpieces. We want to offer the centerpieces. This is an ad lib.
All right.
Okay, so we're going to do that real quick. We've got these centerpieces on the table, beautiful. Oh, we've got 20 of them out there. The $50, they're $50 each for these centerpieces, these lamps right here. The first 20 numbers that go in the air can buy one for $50. If you'd like one of these centerpieces, raise your number up right now. If you'd like, I'm going to start right over here. Count them out for me. 292, 214, thank you. Number 235, okay, they're only $50. Number 115, thank you. Number 307, also number 281. It's these wonderful lamp centerpieces. Number 220, also number 141, and number 267, and number 291, right back there, and I'm missing that number. Turn it sideways. 188, and 296. We got to be getting close to that number. We got one more, 282. Well, that's 13, so we still can sell 7 more, is that right? 7 more numbers, right over here, 202. Anyone else? Number 328, number 269, number 235. We're getting close. 3 more numbers. They're only $50 each for these centerpieces. You can pick them up at the end of the evening. Anyone else? Well, if you change your mind, let us know. We still got about 3 or 4 of them. 3 of them left.
All right, so, well, thank you, Randy. As always, Randy's a longtime friend of JDRF New England, and it's always terrific to have you back every year. So give Randy a round of applause,
Thank you.
please. And congratulations to all of our winners tonight. If you would, after that very successful live auction, I want to first recognize Sherry Cashman and her great Gala committee for putting that together. Thanks for all of your hard work on that. Great success. But now for a moment, I'd love it if everybody could just come into the room and join me as we take a moment to focus on why we are all here tonight.
Without your support, a world without type 1 diabetes is only a dream, and it's impossible to think that life will get better for generations to come. Because we know progress is uncertain. It's why we refuse to believe the struggle will eventually fade away. Relieving the constant counting, testing, and injecting is beyond our control, because life-changing discoveries are not our destiny. But your donation can change our destiny, because life-changing discoveries are not beyond our control. Relieving the constant counting, testing, and injecting, the struggle will eventually fade away. It's why we refuse to believe progress is uncertain, because we know, for generations to come, life will get better. And it's impossible to think that a world without type 1 diabetes is only a dream. Together, we can turn type 1 into type none.
Good evening. Thank you so much to everyone for being here tonight. My name's Karen. I've had diabetes for 23 years. I was 5 years old when I was diagnosed, so I don't really remember life without it. The same is true for my older sister, Lauren, who was diagnosed even younger, at just 3 years old. In fact, it's probably difficult for anyone in our family to remember life before type 1 took over the household. Diabetes is a lot of things to a lot of people. To most of those outside our world, to those blissfully unaware of the difference between type 1 and type 2, it's the reason their elderly relative has to take it easy on the sweets, or an opportunity to make a joke when they see an overweight guy eating a candy bar. To our friends and coworkers, it's the reason we excuse ourselves to test our blood sugar at the restaurant, or why we're sometimes seen drinking juice like it's the last liquid we'll ever be able to consume. To most parents of a newly diagnosed child, it's a terrifying unknown. They're sent home from the hospital with a bag of prescriptions and a binder full of instructions, wondering how sticking a syringe into a piece of fruit can possibly prepare them to pierce their child's innocent flesh countless times a day. To a child with diabetes, it's an unfair interruption from playtime with friends, a restraint they can't understand that keeps them from carelessly heading out to ride bikes with friends without first having to find a pocket into which glucose tabs can be stuffed. To a teen with diabetes, it's an embarrassing burden that makes them different from their peers at a time in their lives when they're struggling to do just the opposite. It's a dangerous opportunity to rebel against their parents and against their own bodies at a time in their lives when changes to the body are enough of an issue already. To a newly diagnosed adult who's just been told it's not the flu they've been ill with, but a chronic disease which will require constant, diligent care, it's a complete culture shock. They've just received the news that they'll now depend on multiple injections of hormone that their body had been producing on its own up until this point, one they've probably never given a second thought to. In an instant, they've lost freedoms they didn't realize they ever had. For parents of a diabetic child of any age, it's a monster that's painful to watch, one they feel helpless to control, and one they'll never stop fearing, no matter the age of that child. Ask any one of them here tonight, they'll tell you they'd trade places with their child in an instant if they could. For those of us who have lived with the disease for decades, it's just life, a part of who we are. The first thing we address when we wake up, and the last thing before we retire for the day. It's such second nature, we can discreetly inject insulin under the dinner table and can literally test our blood sugar in our sleep. We're inspired when we see Jocelyn's 50-year medalists receiving their honors for having lived with the daily challenge for so long. For the recipients of those 50-year medals, it's bittersweet. They're amazed watching the advancements in treatment, innovation they couldn't even fathom in the days of glucose tests with urine and boiling syringes over the stove for reuse. They also realize that even with these advancements, it's going to continue to take hard work each moment of each day to keep complications at bay or in check. To me, diabetes is an obstacle. Most of the time, we make it look easy. We love to share our success stories to show the general public that we're unstoppable. And don't get me wrong, type 1 hasn't really stopped me from doing much. But in this room, I call it an obstacle, an obstruction to me living my life without fear. It's an interruption. Most people training to run a race can jump on the treadmill without having to consider exactly what they've eaten over the past 6 hours or worry that a plummeting glucose level will force them to stop mid-workout. It's a frustrating game of tenths of units of insulin. 2 units of Humalog will bring my blood sugar to 110 this morning, but drop it to 44 tomorrow morning after having eaten the same exact breakfast. It's a mess. It litters my kitchen table with lancets and infusion sets, carpets the floor of my car with used test strips. It's expensive. Copays seem to be forever on the rise. It's upsetting. I can spend weeks on a work presentation only to wake up with a high blood sugar that morning that leaves me so sluggish I can hardly even make it to the meeting. And it's scary. We all know there's those lows that just rock your entire body, leave you feeling like you've just run a marathon. There are times when you don't feel low but decide to check anyway before getting behind the wheel, only to see a 32 pop up on your glucose monitor screen. I'd be remiss, however, if I didn't also call diabetes an opportunity. Because of my diabetes, I've met throngs of people I otherwise wouldn't have. Amazing people at that. I've been inspired by these people to advocate for a cause I'm extremely passionate about. So I do have diabetes to thank for something. Needless to say, diabetes has affected my life in many ways. And I thought it had altered my little world as much as it possibly could, until 2 years ago on a Thursday afternoon when I got a phone call from my mother. My sister Lauren was away on a business trip, and my mother was helping my brother-in-law care for her 11-month-old daughter, my darling niece Ella. Wet diaper after wet diaper, and a very lethargic little Ella had my mom thinking the unthinkable. After 2 days of worrying and watching, she and my brother-in-law took Ella to the pediatrician and then immediately into Children's Hospital. Ella was diagnosed on May 25th, 2011, 1 week before her first birthday. With that phone call, my heart broke in a way that I didn't know was possible. My beloved baby niece, the one just learning how to say mom and dad and dance when her favorite song came on her bounce and play, would never know life without diabetes. My sister, who had worked so hard throughout her pregnancy and was doing phenomenally managing her own diabetes as a new mom, now had to be strong not only for herself and her health, but for that of her baby. I couldn't believe how unfair life was. Luckily, Ella is doing great. She's dealing with the obstacle with flying colors. My sister and her husband have found a way to continue excelling in their careers while keeping their toddler's A1C in excellent range, somehow between her soccer games and story time dates. They enjoy as fulfilling a life as any family could ask for. Ella turns 3 next week, and she will have a blast at her birthday party. I can see her now, twirling around in her party dress, one that Lauren picked for its nice full skirt, billowy enough to conceal the belt and the pump case that hangs off of it. In a few years, Ella can go to Clara Barton Camp like Lauren and I did. In a few more, she'll learn to manage her diabetes around high school sports, student council meetings, and trips to the mall with friends. But I want more for her than this. I don't want to speak again about how well she's doing with her diabetes. I want to speak about type 1 diabetes in the past tense. My dream is for Ella to not have to take her diabetes to college or into her career with her, for her not to experience diabetes through the phases of life I just described. My dream is to hear her tell someone someday, before we were cured, my aunt and I used to have the same pump. We used to do the walk every year. She used to be a JDRF advocate. Let's make diabetes a thing of the past. Let's make it something we can look back on and say, remember when. The more trials and research we can fund, the faster relief can come for all of us. Relief from the 24/7 grind, the 3 a.m. blood sugar checks, the constant threat of a low that can throw our entire day off. Please help JDRF make type 1 a disease that my Ella and all of your Ellas can speak about in the past tense.
Thank you, Karen. That was really phenomenal. And thank you for sharing your personal story, for introducing us to your beautiful niece, and for reminding us why we are all here this evening. So that brings us to our 4th and final ingredient in this recipe, and it's where we celebrate you, every person in this room. Without your giving, Joanne wouldn't have Bags of Hope to deliver. Lori and Howard wouldn't be able to conduct their research. Maureen would have no clout at all when she's working tirelessly on Capitol Hill. And Ella and all of our loved ones would not have a chance for a better life. But like the video said, your donation can change all that. And I'm going to ask my friend Randy to come back up on stage, and together we're going to raise as much money as we possibly can in the next few minutes. And you know, I mentioned earlier that it's the folks in this room who are very close to this disease, and in rooms like this all around the country during our gala season here, that will determine whether or not we are successful in curing type 1 diabetes. And so, as we go into this phase of the night, I'm going to ask you to dig for the lint in your pockets, because if the people in this room don't address this disease, we're not going to be able to succeed in our mission.
Absolutely, Sean. We have come to the most important part of the evening, Fund a Cure. This is when everybody in this room has the opportunity to make a difference. They have the opportunity through their gift, through their generosity, through their love, to respond to Karen's message tonight, to dig for the lint, as Sean said. And here's how it's going to work. As I call out a funding level, if you would like to contribute at that level, I would ask you to just raise your paddle until I call off that number.
So everyone in this room can give something tonight, and we're going to go through a whole range of paddles down across different dollar amounts. And so please consider it, because everyone can give something to help us cure this disease. We'd like to start out at the $25,000 level. Nancy and Don Jones are our biggest supporters for many, many years here in the New England chapter. Couldn't be with us tonight, but being the champions that they are, have already committed at this level. And do we have anyone else who would like to join them at the $25,000 level?
Right out there, I've got two numbers, 161, thank you, Susie. Also, number 272. 272, hold that number, keep that number up.
Thank you, Thomas and Sammy.
Also, number 316, right over there. Thank you so much.
Thank you to the Wallachs, to Neil and Lisa.
Still at the $25,000 level. Is there anyone else that would like to join them there? Anyone else at all? Please give them all another great big round of applause. We appreciate it so much. Well, Sean, I have some great news right now. We have, starting us off, we're going to go to the $10,000 level. That's what I want everybody to focus on right now, is the $10,000 level. Now, we have a lead gift at the $10,000 level provided by Bain Capital Community Partnership, and they're going to match every $10,000 paddle that goes up to $100,000. So we've got $100,000 to live up to during this $10,000 paddle raise. And Sean, I think you have something to do with that, don't you?
Well, I'm very blessed to work at Bain Capital with a group of people who have been committed for many years to JDRF's efforts to cure type 1 diabetes. We've discovered that at least 6 of us, just in our Boston office, are directly affected by this disease. And I've found that when we advocate for our cause around the office and JDRF's focused efforts to find a cure, folks respond to it. And so I'm very grateful to my partners.
Well, we thank you, Sean. Let's give them a big round of applause for this lead gift in that area. Here's the cool part about it, ladies and gentlemen. You give $10,000 tonight, it's like giving $20,000. That's the way it works right here. So I'm going to ask at this time, is there anyone out there that would like to give $10,000? Just hold those numbers up right now. I need lots of them. I'm going to start right over here. Number 400, number 231. You can applause, you bet. Keep it coming. Number 319. Also,
Thank you,
number.
Dean and Mindy.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jay and Risa.
Also, number 152.
Thank you, Michael and Jennifer.
Right over here, number 269.
Thank you to Jerry and Nani.
And did we get 400? I think.
Sorry, I don't have your name up here. I'm sorry.
Nancy Jones. Give her a big round of applause. Oh, it's for Nancy Jones. Oh, well, I was.
So Nancy Jones and Abstentia decided to call in another $10,000, and why we name all of our awards after her for her tireless efforts.
We're doing well. We've almost reached our goal. Is there anyone else out there that would like to contribute $10,000 at this time? It's like giving 2 to 1 right now.
Have we done all 10 yet? Do we have 10?
Where are we at, Luke? We're at 5? We're at 5. We could use 5 more. Is there 5 more out there at the $10,000 level?
I would just say, for any of you that are thinking about paddling up at 5, the benefit of doing this at 10 is pretty obvious. It makes a really big difference for us, and as we get toward our results this evening. So give it a little thought. We have some matches to go.
It is exponential, the difference it's going to make. I'm going to give you one more opportunity. Oh, here we go. 280. Thank you. Also.
Thank you, Tom and Joanne. 271.
Also number 271, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert and Ann.
I'm 3 away from reaching my goal. I want to get every bit of his money. That's what I want to do. 3 more. Is there any more? I'm going to delay just a moment. I think the difference is exponential, Sean, as you said. It just makes all the difference in the world. If you're thinking about 5, this may be the opportunity to kind of step up just a little bit this year. Offer 10. It's going to be doubled. Is there? You bet. I want to hear some applause because I would like to find 3 more out there if I could, if there is. I've got 2. Number 231.
Dean and Mindy. Thank you.
Number 245.
Stephen and Janet, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Could not appreciate it more. We're doing pretty well. 1 more. That's 9. 1 more. Is there anyone else? Anyone else? 1 more at that $10,000 level. Right there. 325. He bought our Clear Channel.
Rob and Sherry, thank you.
Absolutely. That man is golden. Ladies and gentlemen, give everybody at the $10,000 level a great big round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for your generosity there.
I'll echo that thanks, and now let's move on to the $5,000 level.
If $5,000 is your level tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I'd ask you to just raise your paddle up at this time if you would. I'm going to start right out here, number 277. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike and Sarah.
Also, number 113. Thank you.
Thank you, John and Sarah.
$5,000 level, right back there, 409.
Thank you, Rob.
Also, number 288.
Thank you. Sorry. Thank you, Gary and Kim. Hi, Gary.
Also, 116, Sean, right out here. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve and Nancy.
Still at the $5,000 level. Is there anyone else out there?
Yep, in the back.
Oh, right back there. Thank you, Sean. Number 188.
Brian and Catherine, thank you.
Well done. Well done. 1 more ask. $5,000. Is there anyone else in the room? Please give them all another big round of applause. They deserve it. Thank you.
And I'll tell you, this money really does make a difference. Just in 2005, JDRF only had 5 different projects in clinical trials. Now we have 53. This is making a difference. We are getting closer to curing this disease. And so thank you for contributing to that this evening. So I have some more great news to share, Randy. Cheryl and Larry Franklin have offered to match every commitment of $1,000, which is our next level that we received tonight. So let's show them we'll meet that challenge. And so if you were thinking maybe I'll do 500, let's do 1,000 and have Larry and Cheryl match it for you at the $1,000 level. And by the way, if you gave at the 25 or the 10 or the 5, you can also have the Franklins match you at 1,000.
That's right. It's like giving to.
It's not exclusive. You can go over and over again. So at the $1,000 level.
All right, we're at the $1,000 level right here, ladies and gentlemen. Hold those numbers up right now. I'm going to start right over here. Number 211.
Terrific.
Number 261.
I'm seeing recidivists.
Number 193. Number 155. Number 211. Number 222. Number 289. Number 196.